can't. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hold on. Fuck. Nah, I do not want to do this right now, dog. What's up, guys? Today we'll be going over how I develop poems for all of my designs. Well, my one design right now, the redesign, which is trust issues. This is the art design. So I'll be going over one, what everything means. Then I'll talk about the color schemes, which aspect refers to me or other people, how I relate everything to other people and myself, and then I'll give you like a little snippet of the actual poem itself. I won't give you the whole thing. You have to just read everything on the website. So with that, let's get started. Let me put the design up here so you can see it while I work on it. Then I'll explain everything. So usually how I go about just making a design, I try to figure out what relates to people. But what relates to, what I try to figure out first is, does this relate to me? And if it does, how can I relate this to other people? But if it doesn't relate to me, then how can I just relate this to other people, right? Because it's not just about me, it's about other people as well. So in the case of trust issues, this one is primarily relevant to me, and that, I feel like the title is kind of self-explanatory, but I'll explain it anyway for those of you who are a little slow or would like to know a little bit more detail. So with trust issues, I myself, obviously, I have had trust issues. I don't really have them anymore. And those are primarily stemming from the fact that I was invalidated a lot, or if I didn't know like a little certain things, my love was diminished, or I was always made to seem like I didn't care a lot. If let's say I forgot a birthday, or like I forgot another important date, not because I mean to, it's just because that wasn't always on my mind for whatever reason, and that's not my fault. Not because I don't care, it's just because sometimes there are things that you forget, and that's okay. Those things happen. And there are other instances where I was betrayed in terms of, romantic relationships, family relationships, was betrayed quite frequently, friends. Then I just kept betraying, myself and my own heart. I wasn't protecting my own heart. And that's something that you definitely should not do, and I didn't protect it. And because I didn't know how to, right? But I have a greater understanding of how to do that now. I will get into that as I go throughout this design and the poem that goes along with it. But essentially the meaning of this whole design, if you were to encapsulate it in a non-poetic format, is you have your heart here, and you've basically shielded yourself from any negative attacks against your heart. So imagine that as if your heart was a rose. Roses are very beautiful, but since they're so beautiful, they have a means to protect themselves. They don't want things to attack them. They want to protect themselves. So that's where this comes in. So you have a rose here, and it's encapsulating your heart or my heart or whoever else's heart, and a series of thorns that are emanating from inside. Not from inside. They're emanating from the rose themselves and are embedding themselves inside your heart and creating all these protective objects, thorns, and anything that can prod you or bleed you. Not necessarily you, but anything that would come at you and diminish you. right? Even if that would be yourself, if you hurt your own self, you always protect yourself internally, even if it's coming from your own thoughts. And you can take that for what you will. But essentially, what else is happening here is your heart is helping to form this rose by itself, right? This is what all this melted material is. The melted material is building a pool to keep feeding the rose in order to protect itself. So essentially, like, your heart will basically tear itself up a little bit and melt parts of it and get rid of parts of it just to form a protective layer around itself. Kind of like a scab. It's kind of nasty when you do that comparative analysis, but that's the best one I could think of. It's kind of like a pretty scab. Kind of gross it is. But in the process of your heart doing this, as you can see, there's a few holes in here that, it took a little bit too much away. So in those aspects, not those aspects, but in those regions, they're gonna have the thorns really just sow themselves into the embodiment of the heart itself, right? And when that happens, you're gonna get a lot of more protection around those areas, but then those areas are gonna be the most dangerous because those are your biggest vulnerabilities. Those are your biggest vulnerabilities, your insecurities, those are the things that hurt you the most. So your heart will always protect those parts the most. I hope this is making sense. My brain isn't always like this. It's kind of like that, right? So, and in terms of the color schemes, there's some pinks in here and there's some reds, and so those are the colors of love. Like, those are the colors you associate with love or anger or hate, right? Which are other facets of love, right? So essentially that's what everything in here means. You have the heart melting itself to protect itself, and the materials that it's taking off of itself is building a rose and continuously feeding a rose, and that rose is generating all these thorns and protective layers inside and around the heart to protect all your vulnerabilities from those who give you trust issues, even if those people are you, right? Because you can harm yourself, and your heart doesn't want anyone, including you, to harm yourself. So that's what this means. Obviously, this does not just relate to me, this relates to other people as well. So with that, we're going to get into how I go about developing the poem. I'm only going to give you the key concepts. I'm not going to give you the whole, rundown of me just watching me type the poem. I think that's kind of a lot. But what I will do is I'll cut in and out of everything to see, so you can see me in different aspects of everything, and I might be talking just a little bit. So with that, let me get some water. I'm a little thirsty. Okay. All right, so obviously the first key concept is love. Then you have trust issues, and I don't think so. These will be capitalized. I'll keep it capitalized. And you have, can't type for anything. You have protection. You have the abyss / shadows / nothingness. And these are in reference to all these holes in the heart. So, and then you have to reference the color scheme. Colors grimy, because and you want a little bit more grotesque. This is hard. I'm doing this I just do this on the fly. I wasn't prepared for this at all. I had like a general theme, but in terms of the poem's construction, this is usually how it goes. I don't know everything. I guess you would say sadness, loneliness, fatigue, anger, and hate. So just to give the rundown of all the key concepts that are going to be in this poem that are present in this design. So you have love, you have trust issues, vulnerabilities, rose, obviously, thorns, protection. You have the abyss, shadows, nothingness. Obviously, you want to include the color scheme and what do the colors mean inside the poem, inside the design itself. So you have black, gray, red, and pink. This design is kind of grimy, so you want to include griminess, a little bit grotesque. Not completely grotesque, it's just grotesque enough. It's like there's something vile about it in the sense that it's painful and it's gross. And I say gross only because it's melting and some parts are a little bit, hard to look at. But it may not be hard to look at for you, but to me, because some of this represents myself, it's hard to look at. All right, so it's kind of grotesque to me, but I may not keep that in there. But this is grotesque / gothic. I think that's a better, more. I think grotesque / gothic is one. Obviously, beauty, healing, and protection. Not everything about this design is sad. The poem's going to go over how I went about healing myself, but it's also going to go into depth on how you can heal yourself in multiple ways. So I'm going to go over that. And then the last few are sadness, loneliness, fatigue, anger, and hate. So those are all the key concepts. I can blow this up and also angle this a little bit more so you can see. So that's the general gist of how I go about defining how I'm going to just construct this poem. So actually, I'll do you one better. The last thing that you want to do, if this thing wants to go. All right. So there's a few transitioning points. There's a few points where you're going to transition into the general concept, why it looks like this, like how did I get here, why I'm here, how I'm feeling, how can I understand this, and then it will proceed to disattachment, then reattachment, and whatever. It's basically going to go over the entire roller coaster and maybe a paragraph or two on the emotional and mental state that this design represents. And obviously, once you get to the climax, you have, the denouement. And the denouement is like after the climax happens, it goes all the way down, and then the denouement is that process up until the conclusion. And that conclusion, the denouement is the healing process, and the conclusion is when you're finally healed. But I would say finally is done with, quotes, because you're never actually going to be completely healed until you reach a certain point in your life, right? Once you have trust issues, you're always going to have trust issues, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good to be cautious of things, but I guess I would say the conclusion to your trust issues path is that you simply have a very, very good protective layer around your heart and your emotions, and you know how to deal with them, and you know how to deal with certain people and how they do things or say things to you to the point where it doesn't really affect you that much. You're essentially good. Like you're good. You're not good because you have a protective layer around your heart now and you're not pure anymore, but you're good. You're good in the sense that you know how to deal with stuff. Like you are extremely self-aware and you know how to deal with stuff properly, and you're still going to be happy. You're going to be fine, right? You're just going to be a little bit more cautious about stuff and analytical and emotional, but a little bit more analytical about it. Just because you're processing how to deal with things properly and understand things properly, right? You can do that with whether that be in the form of traditional therapy, spiritual growth, religious growth, like whatever, nature, working out, whatever gets you to that point. And there's obviously not going to just be one avenue. There's going to be multiple avenues that all coincide to just lead to the same point, which is healing or just being healed. So that's what the poem is going to be constructed as. You're going to have basically, if you know how a book is written, you're going to have the introduction, and the background of everything, and then get up there to the climax, like you're describing everything and how you got there, and then how you feel. And the climax is just like, oh, I'm breaking down, blah, blah, blah. Right? Everything's gonna be so descriptive, just like that, the blah, blah, everything, right? And then you'll hit that climax and go down to the denouement. Everything will come crashing down exponentially or gradually or just immediately. And then you'll hit that conclusion, that just really good healed point, right? So that's how the poem's going to be constructed. So I'm not going to make you watch me just take like 1 or 2 hours to make this poem. I'm just going to cut back and forth in between different points. And then once I'm done, I'll show you how long it is, and I'll give you like a small... I'm sorry, that was gross. I just burped. It's not a good aftertaste. I'm just gonna fill you in on the gaps. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'll see you soon. Welcome back. I'm done with the poem. It took me I'm not gonna say how long it took. It took me a very long time to do. Should I say it? It took me like an hour and a half to do. Took me like an hour and a half to do this poem. Other than that, so I promise you I'd give you a tidbit of the poem. I'm not gonna give you the entire poem. As soon as this decides to load, I'm gonna leave it over here so you can't see it. The whole poem will be given to you on the website and in a very special video. So stay tuned. So, you're not gonna be able to see my face while I talk. So, I know. All right, now let's start. Black like the sacred chambers of thy night, the inner shadows of the shambles of my light never felt so pure. Bedridden by the shackles of demise, there is no escape for my soul, or rather, what is left of it. For there is no better warden than the mires of love. Never before had a being so pure been made so grotesque. Here we are. If remembrances of yesteryear no longer hold any value, for such memories and emotions have now succumbed to the fatigues of disappointment and punishment. Is there no forgiveness for those who did not know? Or is it that all lessons must be born from the trampled beauties of naivety and joy? Who's to say but the forsaken ashes of tears that now beckon to greet me? How is one to know that it was possible to cry for nevermore? So there's more than 2 paragraphs. I kind of got carried away and just went with the flow. So when I said there's going to be like 1 to 2 paragraphs per poem, I lied. So get ready to read, and if you do not know some of these words, well, that's too damn bad. You're gonna have to learn. We're gonna be intellectuals here, so you're gonna have to learn. I'm gonna learn, you're gonna learn, everyone's gonna learn and be happy about it. And if you don't like it, still buy my stuff. That's at the end of the video, right? Thank you guys for watching. Wait, hold on. One more thing. Let me where is it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Haha. Okay. So, I actually have this hoodie. It has the design on the back. I have more things that I will be selling in terms of clothing and other apparel for each design. But for now, since I have to product test a lot of clothing and apparel, aside from this hoodie, I have stickers. Now, I know some of you love stickers, and I have one friend who is addicted to stickers. I'm not gonna say his name, but he knows who he is. So I will be selling these on the store, which is down for maintenance right now, but I can put some of the products up while I rebuild the website, and that's another video for another day. So just to blow it up too, these stickers will be on the screen, but these will be sold. These will be sold on the store. I'm not gonna have an Etsy store. I'm just gonna have it on the website. I don't really like Etsy that much, especially since I have a website that I pay a lot of money for. So those will be there for you to buy. They're very cheap, so you can buy a lot of them and just plaster them everywhere, even on your face, which I highly recommend, but also don't recommend because they're very sticky. And if you have facial hair, you may not like what happens. Or you may like what happens, like if you have a unibrow, or that might be what you like. But I don't like it. I don't like unibrows, but more power to you if you do. Yeah. But that's it. So, stickers, the poem's done. There'll be a separate special video showcasing the entire poem. Obviously, when the website is updated and done, the poem will be on the website. And that should be it. Any other announcements that I think of, I'll let you know in the next video, and the video after the video after that, the video after that, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm so sorry. I keep burping. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that's it. So that's it. So if you can, and you're able to, and you should, because you love me and you like me, like, comment, subscribe, share. Please share. I need money. And I need love, and I need people to love and understand and become better at mental and emotional health. I need money too. Obviously, it's not about the money, but money is also nice. But spread positivity. So, bye.